What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to take a look at how you can make the best 808 patterns based on the scale that your beat is in. So if you're ready, let's jump right into this. Okay, so for this example, I have a simple melody and just a snare going right now, just so we can keep beat. This is what I got on the piano. This is just a simple chord progression. So there's two routes that you could either be in. Either you made your own melody so you know what scale it's in already. Otherwise, you're using a melody that you might have gotten in a pack from another producer, wherever you may have gotten it. So if you're using another melody that you got somewhere else that you didn't create and you have no idea what scale it's in, you need to figure out what scale it's in. Obviously, that's the first step. So I'm going to leave a card right here at the top of the screen on a tutorial I did on a couple different ways you can try to find the scale that your melody is in. So go ahead and check that out. Otherwise, let's jump right into this. So if we take a look at this piano melody right here, we have our bass notes, which is just a copy of these. So these notes are the same right here. These are the same as these bottom notes. Boom. So these are the notes that are going to play really well with our 808. We're going to want to follow these as well. If there isn't clear, concise bass notes, usually the first note that you're starting on, D, is the first note that you're going to want to start on in your 808. And then you can play around with it and make it sound right from there. So literally all you're doing is you're just following the note that's on the bottom of your melody. So if you have a couple different melodies and you're like, okay, which one am I using? It's going to be the bass sound. So for me, this is a piano. So for you, it could be a piano, it could be some strings, it could be an orchestra, it could be a choir, whatever's like the base of your sound. That's the one that you're going to want to go off of. Otherwise, you could just go for the scale that it's in. So this is an F major. You could just start on an F. So let's go ahead and jump in really quick. I'm going to show you what I'm going to do for this 808. So since we already have the notes outlined, I'm just going to drag this MIDI over to the 808 right here. And I'm going to get rid of all these top notes. We already got these bottom ones. I'm going to quantize them in legato. Lift them up about 2 octaves. So you can see that these ones are pretty low and the 808 might not sound good on those notes. So we're just gonna lift these up like this and it's the same deal. Works the same way. So let's play it and start building an 808 pattern along with this scale. Turn this down a little bit here. Alright, so what I'm hearing right off rip, it's just what's playing in my head, is this kind of a pattern. So the scale that you're in, you're going to see it's got all these notes highlighted. I just have that set up with the MIDI, and if you don't have the MIDIs already for these basic scales, you can grab them for free in the description below, so go ahead and grab that, and you'll get, you know, the major, the minors, and I believe we have the harmonic in there as well. And then you know exactly which notes you can play, so it's just a matter of making sure that your root notes are hitting in the right spots. So you can see that we're in F major, but if I put this on the F, it's not following with the piano, so it's going to sound way off, but it is technically right. So it totally works, it just doesn't sound as good because it's not on the root note. Now we could do something even more simple than this. We could just literally leave it all out like this, and maybe have this last one have a little bit of variation. Or maybe even double this one up. Now you could even switch up some of the octaves, like let's say we want to put this one up. Maybe we put this one up too. Might be a little too much, let's see. So no, you could totally use something like that, but let's try putting it down an octave. I think that would sound cool if this was at the bottom as well. So that's a really awesome pattern right there that we just came up with. So something like this would be super catchy, and you don't even have to make it an 8-bar loop. This is just dope as it is. So something like this is perfect. Play with some of the different octaves here, because that can really make a difference in your beat. And typically what I end up doing is I'll make the higher octave play first, and then the next notes will come after it. So you can see D4, then D3. We're doing the A3, and then we're doing the rest of them in A2. So it can sound really good when you play the higher one first. Otherwise, you could do something different. Like, let's say we wanted to play a higher C note. It would actually sound really good if it was at the end of this bar. So definitely play around with it, but let's check this out. Let's put this a little bit. So the reason I'm doing this is because this isn't always best first. So as you can see, the lower note's gonna play and then it's gonna play higher. So other things you could do is you could just keep it on a couple different notes. So I know halfway it's starting at a G, the root note's going to be a G on this section right here, and the root note is a D on this section. So just starting and going with D, then to G. You could even put like this one back down or wherever it was at. You could put that there and then keep these G all the way through, so you have some variation. You don't always have to play exactly on the root note. But usually it's good if you start with the one in the root note. So we're starting on the D, and this one starts on the G. So even though these ones are on the right root note, they're coming second. So it would sound a little bit weird if these ones were coming first and they weren't on the root note. You could play with the octaves with these as well if you wanted to do something like this approach. So I have these ones down, maybe we put this one up. So you have different options like this, and you'll be able to know right away when you're making your 808 patterns. A good way to check it is to listen to the piano first, or listen to your melody first, then bring in the 808. If it sounds a little bit off, that's because you're not on the root note. So let's do this test really quick. So we'll listen to this for a couple bars and turn this on after. One more time, let's go. Okay, so let's start off on G, just so you can tell what it's going to sound like, because you'll know that it's off right away. So G's not the right one. It is here, but this section, it's not the right note. It is in the right scale, but just notice the difference here. Right away, that does not sound right. So just make sure you're on that root note. All right, guys, this is gonna wrap up the tutorial on how to get the perfect 808 pattern based on the scale that you're in. So I hope you guys liked that one. Smash the like button for me if you did. Also, subscribe to the channel if you're new here, because we're uploading daily tutorials and you're not gonna want to miss out on them. But besides that, I'll be catching you guys again in the next one. Peace out.